My best friend, I've known since I was in diapers. We were neighbors throughout HS, went to college together, and shared an apartment our last year there. He's been a brother our whole lives. We're both an only child. We've talked about how we'll be each other's best man for as long as I can remember. I don't really have any friends other than him. I'm not very social. 2 years ago, I met the love of my life, fiancé. 1 year into the relationship, friend meets fiancé's best friend, maid of honor. Friend and maid of honor start dating. Fiancé and I both agreed that this might cause complications in our relationship if they have problems, but also acknowledged that we couldn't really do anything about it. What were we going to do? Tell them they can't date? They were great together, and maid of honor found him worth giving up, waiting until marriage. A few months ago I proposed, and we are set to be married in a little over a month. I asked friend to be my best man. Fiancé asked her to be maid of honor. 2 weeks ago, friend went out with some other friends and ended up drunk and going home with a girl. He confessed this to me the next day, and he felt like absolute shit. I told him he's got to confess it to maid of honor. He fucked up, and it's only fair to her, and she'll be a lot more understanding if he tells her himself. He agrees this is the right thing to do. Maid of honor's livid, rightfully so. I come home from work, and she's at my apartment. She packed a bag and asked fiancé if she could stay with us to get out of her apartment. I'm fine with this. I can understand she's going through a rough time. 1 week ago, maid of honor decided she can't handle dating anymore, and they break up. She's staying with us until she can find another apartment. Fiancé tells me that there's no way maid of honor will be able to handle being at the wedding, especially walking down the aisle with friend. I told her that they don't need to walk down together or do anything together, but I can't tell him he can't be my best man. It would devastate both of us, as well as leaving me without a best man. Fiancé tells me I shouldn't even want to be friends with him anymore, and offers her brother as my best man. She put her foot down on him, even being at the wedding. She says that one of them can't be there, and that it's not fair for maid of honor to both get cheated on, and then also not able to go to the wedding because we chose friend over her. Friend is already devastated that he fucked up his relationship. I hate cheaters, but you don't just turn on your lifelong best friend because he fucked up. I understand that it is very challenging for maid of honor, but I also feel like since this is my wedding, it should be determined by what me and fiancé want, and that I shouldn't go through my wedding without a best man because of maid of honor. I also don't think that it should be a choice of one or the other, and that they should both come and be professional and avoid each other. Am I the asshole for standing by having him as my best man? Relevant comments. Commenter run, accept your best man, but not the point. And the maid of honor needs to put her shit aside for the day. This is a day about you and fiancé. Do everything you can to separate them. Don't have them walk together. Don't have them sit near each other. Thank you. I think I'm going to wait a week or so to let things simmer. I am hoping everyone comes to their senses. You want a cheater at your wedding? Seriously? Do you want that level of disrespect in your bride's face? I want my best friend there. Nah, except friend. But I do agree it would be unfair to uninvite him. Personally, I would keep the wedding as it is, with the exception of obvious stuff like them not walking the aisle together. If either of the two can't put their shit to one side for one day, that's on them. You and your fiancé shouldn't have to pick one or the other or lose a friend over their relationship. Going against the grain, but yeah, your best friend screwed up big time, and the maid of honor absolutely should not have to walk, dance, whatever with him. That being said, I think there is still room for him to attend the wedding and possibly even be a groomsman. However, look at this from your fiancé's perspective. Your best friend is a cheating bastard, and you are basically defending him. She is very likely wondering if you are going to cheat. You and your fiancé need to have a serious conversation about this and see if you can come up with a compromise. Commenter 5. I disagree. He shouldn't have to ban his lifelong best friend from his wedding because of something that has nothing to do with him. I strongly dislike my husband's best friend, but he was still the best man at our wedding because that's not a choice I get to make. Being married doesn't mean you lose autonomy. Update 1. 3 months later. Supposed to marry months ago, but due to circumstances unrelated to this situation, we have had to push it back until this past weekend. A few days after my post, Maid of Honor moved in with a friend who was looking for a roommate. 2 weeks after she was out, I started having friend over to hang out. Fiance knew that I was doing this, but I never usually tell her when exactly it is. Fiance came home from work early one day on my day off, while friend was there, having a few drinks with me. This was the first time Fiance had come face to face with friend since their confrontation after the incident. She saw his car and immediately went up to our room. I followed her up there to ask if it was okay that he was over, and while hesitant, she said it was okay. Asked if she wanted to come down and hang out with us, and she said she was tired and might come down in bit. I go back. Friend asks if he should leave. A bit later, Fiance comes down, grabs a drink, and sits with us. She joined the conversation quickly, although I can feel the awkwardness. After a few drinks, the topic of how Maid of Honor is doing comes up. Fiance says she's doing fine. Fiance tells friend that she knows he's a good guy, even if he fucked up. She admitted wishing that Maid of Honor would look past things to be able to just go on with the wedding ceremony as planned. Fiance was getting annoyed at the situation and was somewhat hurt that Maid of Honor can't put her personal thoughts aside for her best friend's wedding day. T1 week, Fiance told Maid of Honor she has until 3 days before the wedding to decide, or she will select a new one. The time passes, and Fiance chooses her cousin. The day before the wedding, Maid of Honor calls Fiance in tears about how bad of a friend she feels like, and asks if it is too late to still be Maid of Honor. I had my opinions on this, but I recognized it wasn't my place, and Fiance allowed her it. Wedding day came, and Maid of Honor called the morning of to tell Fiance she couldn't go through with it. Fiance was pretty devastated. Luckily, her cousin had gone through rehearsals as Maid of Honor and was happy to fill in. The wedding continued, and I had an uneasy feeling Maid of Honor was going to show up and make a scene. But thankfully, she didn't. Her parents were there, close to Fiance, but Maid of Honor wasn't mentioned. Wife is moving on past Maid of Honor and is done with her shit. I think we can both understand how difficult getting cheated on was, but she was given months to decide on whether to stay as Maid of Honor, and she bailed on the day of the wedding. I don't think friend is a shitty person, just made a shitty mistake. But I am glad that this didn't hurt my new marriage. Thanks for all of your advice, support, and criticism. I really think it all helped me grow as a person and view situations from the perspective of others. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I don't know. I still think your friend is TA and Maid of Honor got screwed. From her perspective, she gets cheated on, and then her best friend picks the cheater over her for the sake of appearances during the wedding. I think it would have been best if your friend got demoted from best man to a regular groomsman, which would have allowed a little more emotional distance. IDK, I just sort of feel really bad for Maid of Honor, even though she definitely shouldn't have bailed at the last minute after promising to come. OP, thanks for your opinion. I genuinely appreciate it. If your now wife values her friendship with Maid of Honor, which maybe not, judging from the update, I think it would be worth having a heart-to-heart and apologizing. I am planning a wedding myself, so I know how stressful it can be. But is it worth losing a friend that your wife cared so deeply about she made her Maid of Honor? I think maybe you guys got so caught up in the details that you kind of treated Maid of Honor like a prop leading up to the wedding, and saw her as causing drama rather than having what appears to be a reasonable emotional response to a tough situation. It's definitely crappy that she bailed at the last minute, no question. but still I think some empathy would go a long way. Good luck. OP, I definitely don't think it is out of the question. I get how sucky the situation is for Maid of Honor. I just think begging to be Maid of Honor and then bailing the day of the wedding is pretty detrimental for wife. Maybe they can reconcile. I guess I'll see where time takes it. Thanks again. Commenter 3. I hope Maid of Honor moves on for her own sake. She deserves better friends. Commenter 4. Honestly, both you and your wife sound awful and selfish. Your friend did one of the worst things you can do to someone who trusts you, and he wasn't demoted. I'd never want friends like you. She's probably better off in the long run without you or your wife. Final edit. Thanks for your comments, guys. They're eye-opening. I think I didn't put enough effort into viewing this from Maid of Honor's point of view. I realize we didn't treat her the best or how she deserved. I think we were just really focused on our own wedding. And while it is one of the most important days of our lives, we were selfish about it. And I hate to say that we may have sacrificed a friend because of it. Want to experience more of this world? Join me on Echoes of Stories for exclusive stories.